My concern is this. Whenever there's a major crisis, what the Liberal government has done by their inaction has conditioned Canadians to expect that the only response they can see out of their federal government is to restrict their movement. And again,
that was Conservative MP Michelle Rempel-Garner talking some common sense about Nova Scotia's ridiculous policy of imposing a $25,000 fine for going into the woods. Seems pretty reasonable, right? Well, Tim Houston called this a conspiracy theory. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Johnny Says So. And this episode is going to look a little bit different than usual because I'm not at home. In fact, I'm trying to enjoy a little bit of vacation time with my family, but I can't stay away because what's on my mind, guys, is right behind me, the woods. I'm not allowed to go in them. That's right, guys. I could face a $25,000 fine if I were to take 10 paces into those trees behind me. It seems ridiculous, right? But Tim Houston says it's for our own safety. Now, seems a little ridiculous because when this policy went into effect, there were no wildfires burning in Nova Scotia. And now there are tons of them. And it was revealed just the other day that one of these fires outside of Halifax was the result of human activity. Now, they're not saying it out loud, but it's obvious to me and anybody who knows the area that this was caused by a homeless encampment. And Tim Houston was asked about this directly, and he deflected and denied it. Let's take a look.
Just to be clear, it was 12 fines for violating the woods ban, for lack of better terms. Is that correct, when you say 12 fines issued?
I think that's and Scott may know, but I think that's total for the woods ban and the fire itself ban.
Correct, yeah.
Tingley, was there a homeless encampment in this area where your crews responded to?
I think, again, sorry, but I think like the investigation in time will look at, you know, the what, the why, the how, all those types of things. But for right now, the focus is just on containing the fire, fighting the fires, and just kind of reiterating to Nova Scotians that it's a risky situation and just obey the laws that are in place right now. But the actual cause and stuff, that investigation will take. That'll take place after we get through
Now,
this.
Tim Houston is basically asking you to shut your mouth and obey. Don't question why responsible citizens are being punished, while the homeless situation that the government in and of itself created has blown so out of control that tent cities are literally going up in flames in the forests on the outskirts of town. Now, another journalist has a very good question, and I want you to pay attention to this one.
Obviously, there's the crisis of the moment, and you know that needs to be addressed at the time. I wonder, though, if you could take a step back and comment on the place of this fire in the overall picture of climate change and debates about hiking in the woods aside. Are we going to see this every year, that there's going to be bans of hiking in the woods? Is your government doing enough to address climate change and so forth? Can you just comment on that?
I'm not going to try to predict what the weather might be in next summer or the summer of 2027 or 2028 or 2029. I'm not going to try to predict that right now. Certainly, we know that we haven't had any rain in this province since June, so we're dealing with that right now. The forecast is not seeing a lot of rain in the forecast for the next few weeks. So this is why we want Nova Scotians to be respectful of the situation. And on the broader question of are we doing what we can as a province and as peoples, I'd say the answer is yes.
Now, all that stuff about climate change aside, that journalist had a very good question, and Tim Houston did not exactly do a satisfactory job of ensuring Nova Scotians that the government would be looking for solutions other than restricting your movements and imposing draconian restrictions on everyday activities that Canadians enjoy. Now, the next question is even better, because this journalist goes so far as to say the words climate lockdown. And listen to Tim Houston's response. He dismisses this outright as a conspiracy theory.
Sarah Ritchie, are you on the line?
Yeah, my question is for Premier Houston. I'm hoping to get your reaction to comments that were made by Conservative MP Michelle Rempel-Garner today. She told reporters that her concern with what's happened in Nova Scotia and in New Brunswick is that the Liberal government has created a situation that Canadians expect that their only response is going to be to restrict their movement. The governments will respond to emergencies by restricting movement. And I'm just hoping to get your response to what she had to say.
I guess I find it remarkable, the interest in traveling in Nova Scotia woods by people who aren't in Nova Scotia and probably haven't been here very much in their life. So we're only concerned with keeping people safe. We'll do what's necessary to protect lives, and that's what we're doing in this case.
Sarah, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Premier, just generally speaking, this does seem to have become quite a flashpoint, in particular in conservative circles across Canada, with a lot of people saying that this is the first step in what governments will undertake as climate lockdowns. And I guess just what do you make of the response?
I don't really have time for any type of conspiracy theories. We haven't had any rain in Nova Scotia since June. So the thoughts and opinions of people who haven't been in Nova Scotia, who don't know what it's like in Nova Scotia right now, who probably have never been in the woods in Nova Scotia in their life, they're not a top. The thoughts and concerns of those people are not a top priority for me right now. My top priority is just keeping Nova Scotians safe.
Now it's absolutely ridiculous that Tim Houston is trying to dismiss the thoughts and opinions of these conservative commentators just because they don't happen to live in Nova Scotia. When the reality is, more often than not, they are avid enjoyers of the outdoors in their own provinces, and maybe they don't want to see this kind of tyranny end up on their doorstep. Nova Scotia is just the canary in the coal mine. And as for the climate lockdown issue being a conspiracy theory, maybe Tim Houston isn't aware of stuff like this. This article from 2021 from The Guardian says that the equivalent of a COVID lockdown will be needed every 2 years to fight climate change. And this is the kind of stuff that they have admitted to us right in front of our faces. And in the same breath, they're trying to tell us that this is just a conspiracy theory. But I think this pushback against the woods ban is important if we want to ensure that this kind of stuff won't be happening every single summer going forward. And that's my very brief show for today, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And as always, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Johnny from Nova Scotia says thank you. Hey, Johnny from Nouvelle-Écosse, il dit merci, thank you.
Thanks to you.
Thank you so much. Perfect. Yeah, come on.